Hi there, I'm Father Dominic Clementi, and this is Catholic 101. Today we're going to talk about the holy sacrifice of the Mass. Now, I need hours to really get into the holy sacrifice of the Mass, but these videos are meant to be short, sweet, and simple, just to give a very small glimpse into the deep richness of our tradition, right? So these videos are not meant to be exhaustive of any one particular doctrine or dogma in the church. They're meant to be short and just give you a little snippet into the life of the Catholic Church and into our sacramental life and what makes us uniquely Catholic. So what I can say about the Mass in this short amount of time is I mainly want to speak on the obligation of Sunday Mass for Catholics and what makes Sunday Mass for Catholics very different from what Sunday worship is for our other Christian brothers and sisters. So, okay, let's talk about the obligation. Mass is obligated on Sundays and certain holy days for Catholics, mainly because we're called to be united as the body of Christ. We're meant to pray together and to offer the sacrifice of Christ on Calvary together as a body. This alone I need hours to really get into, but the basics of it, you just look at St. Paul's letters in the New Testament. St. Paul often talks about us being the body of Christ, and he goes into a great ordeal explaining to our own bodies how the body is one and has different members. What your hand does is very different from what your eye does, right? Both are integral parts of the body, and together they make us do things like see and touch and work and love, right? So the whole body works toward that mission of living a full life, but each part of our body has a different way of contributing to that mission. Same is true in the church, but the whole body comes together on Sunday to worship the head of the body, who is Jesus Christ and the Blessed Trinity. The Trinity is the head of the body. It's the main mover of the body. It's the brain, right? So we come together on Sunday to worship Christ and the Blessed Trinity through the holy sacrifice of the Mass. And the reason we choose Sunday as the day to celebrate this is because that's the resurrection day. That's the day that Christ rose from the dead, the third day, right? So that's why we've chosen Sunday as our Sabbath celebration. So the Jews have their Sabbath on Saturday. Our Muslim brothers and sisters have their day of prayer on Friday as their main Sabbath day, if you will. For us Christians, it's on Sunday because that's the resurrection day, Easter Sunday, okay? So that's why we choose Sunday as the day for the whole body to come together. Now, what makes Sunday Mass different for Catholics than any other Sunday service for our other Christian brothers and sisters? Well, first of all, we refer to the Mass as a sacrifice. That's also why in the Catholic Church we refer to our ministers on Sunday as priests. So a priest, and we see this all the way back into the Old Testament, the priest is the one who offers the sacrifice. The priests were the ones who would slaughter the animals, bring them up onto the altars, and start the fires that burned them and offered those animals to God. So the priest is the one who offers a sacrifice. Our Protestant brothers and sisters do not believe that their Sunday worship is a sacrifice. They don't believe that what they do on Sunday is the same event of Christ's passion, death, and resurrection as us Catholics do. That's why they don't call their ministers priests, because they're not offering a sacrifice. Instead, they're sharing a meal. Many of our Protestant brothers and sisters would say. They share a meal together every Sunday, and they invite everyone to their meal. For us, it's more than a meal. The meal is definitely a part of it, because that's the Last Supper, which we celebrate at the Eucharist. It's not just the Last Supper, though. It's also Christ's passion, death, and his resurrection. We're just as much in the empty room on Holy Thursday with the apostles celebrating the Last Supper as we are on Calvary watching Christ die, and at the empty tomb seeing the angels tell us he is not here, He is risen. All three of those events that happen during the sacred Triduum happen at every single celebration of the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass. That's why Mass is so important for Catholics. That's why it's an obligation for us to attend on Sundays. And I hope we see you this upcoming Sunday at whatever church is closest to you. I hope this was helpful. God bless you.